We are going to dig right into the big rugby league issue of the moment because the last few days have been full of surprises in the game from East Coast to West. The Western Bears were informed their bid for an expansion team would not be accepted. The sticking point, it seems, the main one, is a licence fee. Well, the Western Bears bid chief, Peter Cummins, now joins me on the morning show. G'day, Peter. Thanks for your time this morning.
G'day, Matty.
Is the Western Bears bid dead, or do you see it on life support?
Unfortunately, I see it on life support. Disappointing as it is.
And where does that leave you? With a glimmer?
I believe so. I'm hopeful that we can have further negotiations with the NRL and come to some compromise on this licence fee.
Did you think, Peter, that at the stage that you'd got to, and we'll get to the licence fee in just a sec, but did you think, because today, from my understanding, October 10 was meant to be the day of your official announcement, did this blindside you?
Absolutely. We were in Sydney having a meeting with our team and prospective CEO and Chief Operating Officer and developing plans for the next 100 days and setting interviews with coaches and players, and it really did come from left field. So, yeah, no, definitely blindsided.
How did it unfold for you personally? Was it Andrew Abdo who gave you the call?
It was, yep.
And how did that call go down?
Oh, it was a very polite and civil conversation, and he just advised us that our bid was unsuccessful. And I just said to him, look, wherever this goes, if whatever your next model is and it doesn't pan out, then we're still here and keen to support. From my perspective, I don't want to put any obstacles in the way of getting a team into Perth. That's the only reason I'm involved in this. Certainly not to make money. When you look at the investment case for, rugby league, the average NRL club makes just over $900,000 after tax. So if you're putting up, $30 or $50 million, it's not a good investment.
Okay, let's talk about the numbers, Peter, because it appears as though the big sticking point here is the licence fee. It's my understanding that you were advised to put a licence fee in your bid. You elected not to do that. Is that how it panned out? And why didn't you include a licence fee?
Firstly, in the bid document or the bid request document, there was no stipulation of a licence fee, and it wasn't a condition of having a licence granted. So although we had informal discussions with Peter Beattie about a licence fee, and a lovely man he is, we, for a number of reasons, and if I've got time just to articulate that, decided against volunteering a licence fee. Firstly, no other clubs paid one, including the Dolphins, the most recent, and who are in a much better position to be able to afford one. The other is that our view was that we brought a significant commercial and whole-of-game benefit to the NRL through this Western Bears licence. It was, new eyeballs, new members, new spectators, new sponsors, the other element to it, obviously, was the reintroduction of the foundation club back into the NRL. And to load us up at a start-up stage with a very significant licence fee, we thought was completely unreasonable, particularly when you consider that the establishment of a new club in, an AFL state adds considerable cost, both on an ongoing OPEX basis as well as CAPEX. So we just felt that it was completely unreasonable. And so our view was with all of those commercial and whole-of-game benefits, that far outweighed any benefit that a licence fee was going to bring to the game.
So the informal discussions were with Peter Beattie. The advice around that licence fee was not a stipulation, not a condition, but an informal advisory. Can I ask you what that number was? I mean, the figures put around was about somewhere between 15 and 20 million, and you've said publicly already that your startup costs are at $16 million. Was that around the figure that you would have been considering if you had to put something on the table?
So that was the number that was sort of informally advised to us, and when we considered all of that against these other issues, there's a cash boom before you get a opportunity to kick a football of around $16 million. We've also got an issue with Western Australia not being a rugby league state, that we don't just have facilities that we can walk into on day one. So the government's going to provide those for us, but that's sort of 3 to 5 years away. So we had to make arrangements to build a suitable but temporary accommodation that cost around $10 to $16 million. Now, that is a significant cost that clubs on the East Coast don't have. So if you add to that a $20 million licence fee on top of the $30 million that we've already raised, we're talking about $50 million investment to generate a $900,000 profit. I mean, it doesn't commercially add up. Now, you've got the top clubs like the Brisbane Broncos, who last year, public accounts, made $4.2 million after tax profit. So, that's at the very top end. But if you take out those top clubs, that $900,000 average drops even further. So we have to be really conscious that I made the mistake with the Western Reds of acceding to a number of requests to get that licence, in which we had to pay, for example, to fly a first and reserve grade team to Perth for every game, as well as our own cost to fly to the East Coast. And that was a crippling legacy for that club. Now, I'm not prepared to do the same this time, and that was our reasoning.
Peter, I understand the commercial realities around why you made that decision, and I understand that in negotiations there are intermediaries, there are people that you deal with in negotiations, and in this case it was Peter Beattie who you had the dealings with. Some of the reporting out here on this side of the coast was, on this side of the country, saying, should there have been a more face-to-face relationship essentially with Peter V'landys in this, and more of a negotiation with Peter V'landys? Do you think that was part of this, or does that not come into play for you?
No, I think that's true. I mean, I've been in business for 40 years, and with every transaction, there's generally a negotiation. You start at one place and finish up somewhere else. We never got that opportunity, and I'm hoping that at some stage we do get the chance to sit back down with Mr. V'landys and have those negotiations. Because from our point of view, we're absolutely committed, and we'd hate to see the opportunity lost. If
the sticking point now is a licence fee, and let's call it $20 million, if that's a sticking point, would you consider going back to the league right now and saying we're prepared to discuss a figure and that figure and have those negotiations? Would you be prepared to put a licence fee on the table?
Yes, we would, and we will be going back to the NRL to make an offer.
Okay. All right. Have you spoken to the North Sydney Bears in all of this?
We have, and, they're gutted because we'd started to develop a really respectful and harmonious relationship with the board, and we were working towards, all sorts of fantastic opportunities to promote the Bears, and, they're disappointed, but they have faith that Mr. V'landys' phone call, in which he indicated that there will still be a Bears opportunity, is what they're hanging on to at the moment. But they said to us that they'd love to still have that opportunity to do something with the Western Bears.
And what about the partnership with the WA government? Because the NRL has now said it would even consider going solo on this and doing a direct deal with the WA government. Have you had any feedback from them?
No, I don't. But, I wish them luck, because I don't believe that, state government's role is to partner up on, operating rugby league clubs or sports in general. So I don't know where that will go, and we'll wait to see. But no, we'll be definitely making an approach back to the NRL.
All right. Just a final one then. When do you think that approach would be? Because as you say, it's on life support, so there's still breath in this yet. But obviously the phone call's got to be made. Is it sooner rather than later? Are you still aiming towards quick negotiations and possibly a 2027 entry into the NRL?
Certainly, that's our hope still. But we've got to be very conscious of the fact that if there is a fee to be paid and it's significant, we've got to make sure that we can honour a commitment that we make. So that's what we're working on at the moment.
Peter, thanks for your time this morning. You've been very generous with it. Wish you the best of luck, and let's see where the next step goes in this one.
Thanks for the opportunity, Matty.
Good on you, Peter. Peter Cummins there, in charge of the Western Bears bid, which still remains a glimmer of hope. So out of all of that, the numbers have been put on the table as far as what they consider is reasonable, what they consider is not reasonable. Interesting that there was no official stipulation on a licence fee in the bid, nor a condition, and informal discussions with Peter Beattie, who played a critical part in all of this, advised that way. So, where does it leave it? It sounds to me as though it leaves it back now in the hands of the Western Bears. Come back to the table. Has the bread been broken? Or could you get back to that table in the first place? It appears as though they've still got some outreach to the NRL and the ARL Commission Chief there in Peter V'landys, and then it becomes a question of how much.